What if I told you there's a tiny corner of Africa that can change your food prices, gas prices, global shipping, and even world security, all at the same time? A region so valuable that the world's biggest powers are building bases, fighting for ports, and pouring billions of dollars into every square kilometer. And that's the beginning. Because today, you're also going to discover the most valuable 23 square kilometers on Earth, Africa's so-called Hermit Kingdom, an ancient giant that refuses to be colonized, and a 3,000-year cultural mashup unlike anywhere else in the world. The Horn of Africa is a cultural crossroads that has been mixing languages, identities, and civilizations for more than 3,000 years. It's home to two major branches of the Afro-Asiatic language family. First, you have the Cushitic speakers, dominated by Somali people. Somalis are one of the largest ethnic groups in Africa. Then, move into the highlands of Ethiopia and Eritrea, and the picture changes. Here you find people who speak Semitic languages like Amharic, Tigrinya, and Tigray. The Horn of Africa has something almost no other region in Africa has: its own ancient script. The Gay script, carved into stones as early as the first millennium BCE. It's still used today in Ethiopia and Eritrea. It's one of the oldest continually used writing systems on Earth, older than any European alphabet, and it's the script behind over 20 local languages. All of this connects back to the deep history of the region. Long before modern borders, the Horn was home to ancient states like Dimt and the powerful Aksumite Empire. Aksum traded with Rome, Persia, and India, minted its own coins, and built obelisks so massive that even modern engineers debate how they were moved. Did you know coffee, yes, the drink billions of people rely on every day, was first discovered in Ethiopia? The world wakes up each morning because of a plant that grew wild in the forests of the Horn of Africa. So when people talk about this region as a cultural mashup, it's not a metaphor. It's literally a meeting point of languages, migrations, kingdoms, and innovations that shape not only Africa, but parts of the world you interact with every single day. If the Horn of Africa had a heavyweight champion, it would be Ethiopia, a civilization so old, complex, and influential. Ethiopia isn't just another country in Africa. It's one of the oldest civilizations on the planet. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church is one of the oldest Christian traditions in the world, older than most European churches, preserving rituals and practices that date back more than a millennium. Lalibela, where entire churches were carved straight into the rock. These monolithic structures, sometimes called Africa's Petra, were built on the 12th century and remain one of the most astonishing architectural achievements in the world. Then there's the part everyone knows. Ethiopia is the only major African country that was never colonized, a point of enormous pride, not only for the Ethiopians, but for Africans worldwide. And then there's the last twist most people outside Africa don't expect. Rastafari, later Emperor Haile Selassie, became the spiritual foundation of the Rastafarian movement in Jamaica, symbolizing resistance, identity, and a return to African roots. A global cultural movement, all tied back to Ethiopia. If Ethiopia is the ancient giant of the Horn of Africa, then Eritrea is its mysterious closed-off neighbor. From 1961 to 1991, Eritrean fighters battled Ethiopian regimes in one of Africa's longest and most brutal conflicts. Entire generations grew up knowing nothing but war, It wasn't until 2018, when Ethiopia's new leadership reached out, that the two nations finally signed a peace deal. In that moment, border crossings reopened, families reunited, and hope returned to a region. But inside Eritrea, another story continued. The government maintains one of the world's most militarized societies with an indefinite national service program. Men and women can be drafted for years, sometimes for life. Because of this, many young Eritreans leave the country, creating strong diaspora communities in Europe, the United States, and the Middle East. Politically, Eritrea is unique and controversial. The country has no formal constitution, no national elections, and a highly controlled media environment. The leadership argues that these measures protect the nations from foreign interference. Critics say they keep the government in near total control. Humans may have walked out of Africa through this exact region. Genetic studies point to the Horn of Africa as one of humanity's exit routes tens of thousands of years ago. If there's one country that proves size doesn't matter, it's Djibouti, a tiny nation that plays an oversized role in global politics. On the map, it looks like a pin at the edge of Africa. But in reality, this small state is one of the most strategically important pieces of land anywhere on Earth. Djibouti sits at the entrance of the Red Sea, right where ships pass on their way to the Suez Canal, the same route that carries about 12% of all global trade. Oil, food, manufactured goods, electronics. If it moves by sea between Europe and Asia, then there's a good chance it squeezes past Djibouti's coastline. And because of this location, almost every major power wants a piece of it. Djibouti hosts the highest concentration of foreign military bases in the world. The United States has a base here. China has a base here, their only official overseas base. France, Japan, Italy, and Saudi Arabia have a presence here too. Nowhere else on Earth will you find American troops and Chinese troops stationed just a few kilometers apart, staring across the desert at each other. But Djibouti's importance isn't just international, it's regional. Ethiopia, Africa's second most populous country, is landlocked. And because of this, 95% of Ethiopia's imports and exports flow through Djibouti's ports. Without Djibouti, Ethiopia's economy would collapse. And perhaps the most surprising thing about Djibouti isn't political at all. It's geological. The country sits at the heart of the Afar Triangle, one of the most geologically active places on Earth. Here, three tectonic plates are pulling away from each other, slowly tearing Africa apart. Scientists say a new ocean will eventually form right through this region, and Djibouti is literally sitting on the crack. Interesting point. Ethiopia has more UNESCO heritage sites than many European countries. From Lalibela to Axum to Harar, it's a museum carved into mountains. The Horn of Africa isn't just a corner of the continent. It's one of humanity's oldest crossroads, a birthplace of languages, religions, kingdoms, and ideas. Here, the Red Sea narrows into a knife edge, turning the region into a bridge between Africa and the Middle East.